Hey, all you ghoulish gourmets, and welcome to another episode of Movie Munchies. Today, we're going to be making Here's Johnny Cakes in honor of the Kubrick film The Shining, loosely based on the Stephen King novel. I think we've talked numerous times, or I have talked numerous times with different people, that The Shining, Kubrick's version, is a fantastic film. However, it is not a very good adaptation of Stephen King's work. But I love the movie, and I was telling Jay that I was trying to come up with some idea, some movie munchies to incorporate. There is something on my. I think that was some kind of sauce. I think I hear my voice echoing back in the bedroom, so Steve must be watching me as I'm doing this movie munchies. However, um, I was not able to come up with anything. My brain was just mush, as it has been for a few weeks. So Jay, bless his heart, came up with here's Johnny Cakes, and I was like, "That's fantastic!" And it, his Steve is carrying on back there. Y'all are probably hearing all that. I know I am. I um, Jay's sister Kathy actually sent me a recipe, which I have in my hot little hands here, for Johnny Cakes. It's from a website, Small Town Woman, and I believe I have that URL in the description for this video. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Now, the only thing I'm not going to be able to show you guys because I've only got two cameras. If I had an additional camera, perhaps I'd be able to show you me actually frying them. However, you're probably not going to be really interested in frying them. I'm going to tell you what kind of things you need to watch for so you know when to flip them over. Okay. And I may, I may just add a commercial to play, or I may just take myself out of the stream while I'm actually frying these up. Then I will come back and show you the results. Now, unfortunately, as Amazon is prone to do, I had a little surprise to add to these Here's Johnny Cakes. Um, and it was going to be something shining related. However, I think they're going to be a little later getting those surprises to me. So I'm going to show you partially what I had in mind. And if the surprise doesn't make it here before I'm done with this movie Munchies, I will be sure when they come in, I will, get them all set up, take a picture, or do a separate video or something to show you what they look like with the surprise. I really, really hope that they would come earlier today. But as many of you know that order from Amazon a lot, um, sometimes they drag it out. They'll drag it out all day. First, it'll say it's coming in the morning. Then it'll say it's coming early in the afternoon. Then it'll say it's coming in the evening. So we'll just wait and see. So, what do we need to create these Johnny cakes? And what are Johnny cakes, first of all? Some of you may not be familiar with what Johnny cakes are. Johnny cakes seemed to me to be something that my mom made and just simply called fried cornbread. They also call them hoe cakes. Um, and there may be many other names for these. However, my mom did not put sugar in hers, in her fried cornbread. Um, some people like sugar in their cornbread. So, you know, so what makes these unique, I think, the Johnny cakes, is that you can have them with soups and stews. Um, you say, "Yo, Data, I'm usually aroused by your food, so it's good I'm not on video." Probably is a good idea, Jay. Um, So, so you can serve them with soups and stews and things like that to make a savory meal. Hey, Blissful. Or these can be a little bit of sweetness to your day because you can have them with butter and warm syrup. You can have them with butter and honey. Uh, the possibilities are kind of endless with these things. So, we're going to go ahead and get started here. I'm going to show you what you need to make these. So, first of all, we need a cup of all purpose flour, which I already, oops, it would help if I'd add the haunted food can, wouldn't it? There we go. Um, so I'm going to briefly make this a solo layout. So we have 1 cup of all purpose flour here that I've already measured out because I finally figured out that getting this stuff together in advance was the best way to go with these. Yeah, Blitz. Well, I think they'd be amazing with honey. I'm going to use syrup today, but I might like to try them at a later date with honey. Something else we need 1 cup of cornmeal, and you can use whatever kind of cornmeal you wish. I have white lily. Oops, sorry about that. White lily. I'm having a hard time getting this to show on there. White lily buttermilk enriched white cornmeal mix. Some people have yellow cornmeal mix. It really doesn't matter. This is self-rising, which I probably wouldn't necessarily need, but I don't think it's going to hurt to have it in this case. Okay. So we also need 2 teaspoons of baking powder, and I just have Kroger spoon spoon in a touch of baking powder. I mean, it's just store brand baking powder. You can use whatever baking powder you want. We also need 2 tablespoons of sugar, and I have my sugar substitute, the Splenda sugar blend, which is not in the bag. Put it in my little canisters here. So if you're on a restricted or no sugar diet, there are lots of good sugar substitutes that you can use nowadays. And I think I built a little bit in there, but that's not going to hurt. Okay, what else do we need? We need a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Again, I just have the Kroger brand free flowing salt. You can use whatever salt that you want to use. We also need 2 large eggs at room temperature. So I have let these eggs sit out for a few minutes to get them room temperature. These are just kind of what they call farm fresh eggs that I picked up at Kroger's. But you can use whichever kind of large eggs you want. 3/4 cup of buttermilk. Now, here's something I want to share with you guys, and I knew about this before I checked this recipe. I neglected to buy some buttermilk. Didn't have any buttermilk in the house. But never fear, if you have regular milk in your house, all you have to do is put 3/4 cup of milk in the case of this recipe and add uh, 2 teaspoons of lemon juice or white vinegar. Either one will work. I use lemon juice, and I just have this Italian lemon juice that I think I showed one other time. Okay. So we also need a 1/2 cup of water and a 1/4 cup of melted butter, slightly cooled, which I already have all ready to go, and I'm going to try not to spill that. And you also need some oil or butter. I'm going to use butter. Now, if you're on a low fat diet for cholesterol or to lose weight or to whatever, then feel free to use whatever substitute that you want to use for the butter. You can even use margarine. You can use I can't believe it's not butter or whatever. Um, so let me read through these comments before we get started here. Yes, Jay, I think it'd be good with strawberry jelly too. I'm a big fan of like Concord grape jelly. I mean, you could use jams if you're a fan of jams. Um, Blissful, you say after Kathy said that about honey, I've been needing to make them. Oh yes, honey's also good on biscuits, homemade biscuits as well. Um, Jay says, "Yeah, I had a butter and honey. It's snowing, Blissful man. I wish it was snowing here, but alas, it's 42 degrees. So um, I'm going to exit the solo layout for a second. Jay says, sure ain't snowing here, low 60s. Blissful says, Jay, that's chilly for you. Yeah. Uh, Jay says, I like Dana says, all like I do. Yeah. Blissful, you say, I get store brand called it kind of tastes like butter. There you go. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to make uh, the haunted food cam. I'm going to make that our solo layout because I'm going to shortly be putting some things in the bowls here. So, in a medium bowl, they say to whisk together the flour, cornmeal, baking powder, sugar, and salt. Now, I'm not real good with a whisk. I am going to be using a whisk. I'm going to change out bowls here. We need a little bigger bowl for this. Set that. Set this one over here. We'll use that in a minute. So for this part, I'm going to be using my wooden spoon. This is a Pioneer Woman spoon. You can see the little butterfly on the handle. And no, I will say yet again that the Pioneer Woman Redrumming does not sponsor my videos. Kind of wish she would. Maybe she'd send me some of this stuff for free. So we're going to put our flour. So we're going to put our cup of flour, which we've already measured out in here. Okay. And we're also going to put our cornmeal. Ooh, try to not make it dusty in here. I do that all the time. Okay. And we're also going to put our baking powder. So we need 2 teaspoons of baking powder. So I'm going to go ahead and get that. I like to try to shake it over the whole thing like I see them do on cooking shows and things like that. I don't know if it makes anything any better or not. Probably not. Um, and then we're going to put our sugar and our salt in. So we're going to put 2 tablespoons of sugar in here, or in my case, or substitute. And my thinking would be, since I'm not really big on having sweet cornbread, really, I would probably use this sugar or sweetener in my case um, if I was making this for anything other than soups and stews. If I was wanting to make like I don't know, a snack like thing, a sweet snack type of deal, then I would definitely put the sweetener and or the sugar in there. And I'm doing, what my mom always said it was a good idea to do is to kind of clean up as you go along or put things away as you go along. All right. So we also need a half a teaspoon of salt. Careful with the salt because you don't want to make this too salty, right? All right. Okay, let me see what everybody's saying here. Let's see. Hey, old curly jaws. You want to know what I'm making? I'm making Johnny cakes today, or actually, in this case, here's Johnny cakes in honor of the shiny. Um, Jay, or hey, Kathy, Jay, you say Walmart sells. Wow, I totally thought it was butter. Hey, Blair. Blair says 50 degrees here in Kansas City. Go Chiefs. Uh, Oh, Curly Jaws, you say, how do you have the camera set like this? I'm curious what you're using. Well, here's the deal, oh Curly Jaws. I'm glad you asked about that. I actually have an arm that my you can probably see part of this arm. Well, when I have myself in the shot, you can. Um, and I don't leave this arm in the kitchen, but I leave the little attachment, the clip that I put it on, and then my phone goes in the top of this arm, and you can adjust it for your particular phone. Then I use some software called Camo Studio software, and I have that on my computer and I have that on my phone. And once you get your phone connected up to the Camo Studio, then you can simply, if you're using StreamYard, you can add an extra camera. And once you set this up one or so times, it will give you the option to click on the camo cam. But I hope that's what you wanted. Uh, and the arm didn't cost too much, and the camo software doesn't cost all that much per month either. Okay, so we've got all of our, dry ingredients. So I'm going to take, they say to use a whisk. For this, I'm going to just take my wooden spoon here, gently mix it because I'm prone to making stuff just slop out everywhere. Okay, get that mixed up real good there. Get all the flour mixed in with the cornmeal and the sweetener and the salt and the baking powder. Okay. So now we're going to set this to the side here. Well, actually, I'm going to set. Now we're going to get our other bowl, and this is where I'm going to be using my whisk. I'm going to put our eggs in here and be careful. Don't do like I have done sometimes and get eggshells in there because it's easy to do. Very easy to do. Probably some of you guys are probably better at cracking eggs than I am. Tend to massacre the eggshells. We're gonna put our buttermilk in here. Okay. Put this in here. Now I'm going to take my whisk. I'm trying not to splash this stuff out. We're just gonna, and I did. Never said I wasn't neat in the kitchen, or said I was neat in the kitchen. So I'm going to slow the whisking down just a little bit. I have this bad habit of thinking that I've got to be real quick when I'm whisking. So just do about a medium whisk and get that egg mixed up in that buttermilk. Also why I wear an apron when I'm doing these things because I'm so dang messy sometimes. Okay. Because I've made a mess of myself, I'm going to go get paper towel and wipe my arm off, wipe this up a little bit. All right. Now we're going to add the water. So again, we need a half a cup of water. Okay. Put that water in there. And we're also going to put a fourth of a cup of melted butter in there. As long as your hands are clean, this is okay. And then we're gonna whisk that. Put my this down here. We're gonna whisk this until it's just combined. Again, you don't have to go too quickly. All right. Now we're going to add the wet ingredients to our dry ingredients. Okay, so we bring my other bowl over here. And we're going to slowly pour the wet ingredients into the dry ingredients. And we're going to mix this up real easily here. Sometimes I get too fast with this even. Mix this together. Now, if you're proficient with a whisk, feel free to use a whisk the whole time. I'm just not too proficient with a whisk. Once you start getting it mixed up a little bit in there, you can maybe start stirring a little faster. So you don't slop any of the wet or the dry ingredients out. You just want to get that mixed enough where you don't have any dry bits of flour or cornmeal. Want everything mixed up all nice. Okay, that looks good. All right. Now, we're going to heat a little bit of either vegetable oil or butter or whatever you're using to fry these in. We're going to heat that up. So I know I don't have a camera. The exit so So I know I don't have another camera. Maybe someday I'll have another camera or get another phone, a cheaper phone, just to do this with. And have a door, maybe coming out the wall or something, whatever I can do to have it over the stove. But that'll be for a later time. So you won't actually get to see me frying these things. Um, Jay says, spoon some homemade pinto beans over one of these, a dollop of sour cream. You'll get religion. Hell, Jay. Yeah. Yeah. Blissful says, Jay, you're making me hungry. LOL. Yeah, I think Jay needs his own cooking show too, Blair. Jay, you say I'm good at one-handed egg cracking, but my hands wind up looking like I had a meeting with my old kin. Oh man. Thank you, Blissful. Blissful says, please hit the thumbs up. Thank you. Yeah, I think the birds do want some. They want something, Jay. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start heating this butter on medium heat. Don't want to get too crazy with the heat. I've noticed that a lot of times over the years. I've almost burned things because I'm thinking, yeah, crank up the heat. Nah, you want to probably keep it about medium heat. Uh, and it's, in fact, this says medium heat. Now, I'm using a cast iron skillet. Again, it's Pioneer Woman. And no, Pioneer Woman doesn't sponsor my videos. But I'm using a cast iron skillet because that's what I like for these particular things. But you can use any non-stick skillet you have. I'm not saying you got to have a cast iron skillet. That's just my preference. Hey, Zachy. Um, Blissful says the birds sound so happy. Yes, they do. Most of the time, they do sound happy. So we're going to let that butter melt. It's starting to melt already here. I'm going to kind of take my spatula here and move it around. We'll let that butter get all melted. That skillet getting really hot. Also, be very careful with your skillets because I've burned myself on more than one occasion with them. And then you will hear me say naughty words whenever I do that. And I don't really want to say any naughty words on here, even though all my videos are set not for children. You just don't really want to come on here and be cooking and cussing away. Um, oh, I got good vibes that Jay is a good cook, Kathy. But I'm telling you, he needs to get him a woman companion that that way he doesn't have to cook all the time if he doesn't want to. And so I'm just saying a woman companion, Jay. Somebody you can spend time with and can cook for you and all that stuff. Yeah, that would be good too. I made some pumpkin bread that was my Michael Myers signature pumpkin bread, but I'm not against making some pumpkin pumpkin bread. Maybe next fall, or I mean this coming fall rather. I can do that because that's when I like to do a lot of my bread making is in the fall. So, like I said, Curly Jaws, if you're still in here, I hope that what I said about the extra camera wasn't confusing. I also had my "You Have Been Poisoned." I have my "You Have Been Poisoned" spoon. It's kind of hard to see that, but it does say "You Have Been Poisoned," which because I have it out today because that's about a tablespoon, and I think our skillet is almost ready here. So, um, what I want to say to you before, I'm going to turn the heat down just slightly on this. What I'm going to tell you before I remove myself from the string for a little bit, why I'm frying these, is how to fry them and what kind of things you need to look out for as you're frying them so you know when to flip them. So you're going to heat your oil or your butter. Then you're going to add 2 to 3 tablespoons of batter, the batter that we just mixed up here, um, for each cake to the pan. Now you're going to cook until bubbles form on the top and the edges are a deep golden brown. Then you're going to flip them over at that point and cook until the other side's golden brown. Then you're going to move them to paper towels to drain. And it says for best results, serve promptly. So I have my plate with paper towels on it already, and I have my spatula all ready to use. So what I'm going to do for you guys and gals is I'm going to take myself out of the stream while I'm frying these. It shouldn't take me too awfully long. And sure I get all that batter in there. And I don't know if I'll cook all of them right now because I think this stuff will keep for a little bit. Uh, but I'll cook enough to show you guys and gals what this looks like. So I will be back in a few minutes. Okay, everybody, I am back. Sorry that took me a little bit longer, but guess what? The surprise that I wanted to add to these just came in as I was frying up these Johnny cakes. So I'm going to look at y'all's comments here. I was reading some of those um, as I was frying these things. Hey, Sean, I am having a nice weekend. I had a very nice weekend, evidently. Jay said I air fried some homemade French fries the other day and spooned chili over it with sharp cheddar and sour cream. Sounds amazing, Jay. It really does. Kathy said if it was somewhat the recipe I remember as a child. Mom may have added ingredients. I don't know. Blissful says, Shauna, it's been a good weekend. Hope yours is going good. Oh, sweet corn. Yeah, that would be a definite idea, Jay. Blissful says, Kathy, I try the recipes that my grandmother gave me. It never tastes the same as when she made it. I can never make things exactly like my mom either, so I know how that is. Uh, I'm guessing Blissful is saying yay because I'm back. So I am going to I want to lay the little surprise over there. Probably because I got my surprise in. Now, I'm going to go ahead and add the haunted food cam back here and make that the solo layout again. Now, you'll notice this syrupy substance here that I created as I was frying these. And all this is Hungry Jack pancake syrup and a little red edible glitter. And I hope that is not Reg coming in here. A little ruby red edible glitter that I've added to this pancake syrup. So just make sure if you want to go the glitter route that you get edible glitter if you're going to be putting this on your Johnny cakes. Okay, so my Johnny cakes aren't quite as pretty as some, but I tried my best. They're semi round and all that. Um, so what I'm going to show you guys is if you want to eat these with syrup, let's just put a little bit on there. And you can also dip it in there, but for this display, I'm just going to do this. You can put as much as or as little as you want on there. I'm just going to put that in the center, and it's starting to, it's okay if it spreads over. It'll probably look more like blood. Now, this is the surprise I got that I was waiting to come in. This is not a real axe. Steve thought I was getting a real axe. He was about to have a hemorrhage. Um, I said, no, that's not real axes. What would I be doing with a real axe? Now, these are pins, as you can see there. I wanted to be able to cover that over, but I didn't quite have time. But if you have time, if you can put some brown tape or something over top of that, I mean, you're not going to be keeping, excuse me, this sucker in there while you're eating anyway. And you see how that syrup's starting to run off the onto the plate. I mean, I think that's pretty good too. So I'm just going to put a little more. Like I said, you can put as much as you want on here. Why don't we just slop a little more on there? Right. And then we're just going to press our axe down in there. And voila, you have here's Johnny Cakes, the Shining Edition. And yeah, I was so glad that these came in time for me to be able to show you guys and gals this. Let me see if I can kind of turn it a little bit so you can see the blade of that axe, how it's going into Johnny cake. And that's basically all there is to it. Uh, Thank you, Bliss. You said they're so cool. And you say awesome, and I'm hungry now. Yeah, I probably made everybody hungry now. Now, Steve said he was going to try some of these, so I might see if he wants to try one out. Uh, yes, Jay is right. I forgot to mention that if you want a little extra butter, feel free to add some butter and or your butter substitute of choice. You Jay says, "Damn nice and they look good." I'd add a little butter. Yes, definitely add whatever you like. And for so you guys know that these do indeed taste good, I am going to I'm gonna help myself to this here. So I'm just gonna leave the axe in there for now, so because I just think that's till I get to that center part, then I'll probably take it out. Good. Let's get a little more with the center part. That's good. That is really, really good. And honestly, this is the first time I've ever made Johnny cakes per se, and it's the first time I've ever eaten them. So, but yeah, they are really, really good. So good, in fact. I will have to take a drink. All right. Thank you, Kathy. You said they look great. Jason, now she's eating them. Get us all worked up and brag on the taste. You drink. Yeah, that's me, Jay. Uh, so I hope this has encouraged you or inspired all of you to make your own Here's Johnny cakes. And I think I'm going to have to go back and add the link to these little axes in case you guys and gals want to do this. I mean, you might want to do it now for some party you're having. You might want to wait till Halloween and do this. Um, but definitely enjoy these Here's Johnny cakes at any time. Um, and so I'm probably going to skedaddle on out of here unless anybody has any questions for me, real quick. But be sure to tune in at 7 p.m. tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, for the Wedding Singer Watch Along. I also have, and I'll probably remind people again because I forget what I say. Uh, Jay said the syrup and the ice made the show. Well, I'm glad. I'm glad that added a little extra to it. But I would like to sincerely thank both Jay and Kathy for assisting me with the idea for this. But Monday, I will have another Stephen's Kingdom where I'm going to be covering another three Stephen King adaptations. Tuesday will be another Everybody Wants England. I'm going to be talking about three more movies, and I believe one of those movies is going to be Eaten Alive. So, for all of you Eaten Alive and Buck fans, be sure to tune in for that. Wednesday, me and TJ should be returning if all goes well with the last half of the seventh and final season of Tales from the Crypt. Um, Thursday, I'm planning on doing another Seductive Poison, The Resurgence. I don't know if I don't come up with a theme, I may do another review show where I just pick three films off of my shelf and talk about those. Friday, of course, will if all goes well, will be another midday with Dana and Jay. And again, please don't ask me what the theme is right now because I have no idea. And then Saturday and Sunday, we'll have Reanimator as the Saturday watch along starting at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And I'm forgetting what the other one is, but I will look it up and be sure to tell you guys later on tonight when I do the Wedding Singer watch along. Well, you're just thank you for providing that information for me, Kathy, and also for Jay and coming up with the idea for this because I was just sometimes, like I say, my brain does not work very well. Um, and we'll get one more view of the Johnny cakes here. Just make that or solo layout. You can see that the syrup is kind of caramelized or dried, and I think it looks even more like blood now that it's had time to sit there and dry a little bit. And as you can see, the axe is still in there. So let me get me back here. There we go. So again, thank you guys and gals for joining me for yet another movie munchies for Here's Johnny Cakes. And I will see everybody next time. Y'all have a great afternoon.